Hello everyone and welcome back to Vlogmas. Today I'm going to talk about all of the books that I read in November. Spoiler alert, I only read 2 books in the entire month of November, but they were books that I had pre-ordered and have been waiting for since I believe early March of this year. Both books are part of a series that I really have been enjoying. One of them was the last book in the series and the other one was the book 2. I wanted to take my time and savor every page I could with these books, which is why I only read 2 books. Usually I'm quite an I consume books really fast. I can read a book a day on the weekends. And I did do that earlier this year with Shield of Sparrows, and that did not happen this month because I wanted to take my time, of course. And the other one of the books, I should say, was my most anticipated book of the entire year, and it also came out on my birthday. Like, I thought it was amazing, and I had so much fun watching everybody count down the days till this book was released, because I'm like, oh yeah, there's only 18 more days to my birthday. Oh, now I'm only 4 more days to my birthday. So of course I thanked the author in advance, who created all these like fun countdowns and everything. I just had a lot of fun with it. Just the build up to the day the book was released was a lot of fun. So yes, the 2 books I read in November were Crown of Smoke and Starlight by G.K. Derosa, and of course Brimstone by Callie Hart. I do have my notes out and ready to go, just so if you see me looking down, it's because I'm reading my notes, because I took notes for once. All right guys, so let's talk about Crown of Smoke and Starlight first. So this is the final book in the Court of Etheria series. I read Crown of Smoke and Starlight digitally, I must say. I did not read it as a tangible physical copy. Because it was part of my Kindle Unlimited, and because I already read the first 3 books in the series on KU, I wanted to just continue the tradition. I wasn't ready to purchase the physical books. They are on my book trophies list, I must say. So I also do not own an e-reader of any kind, really, so I read the entire book on my phone and my computer. Let me tell you, it's a whole nother experience. I could probably have an entire another video about reading books on a computer versus a phone versus physical, and the thought process that I'm intrigued in buying an e-reader, but that's currently not in the cards for me. So if you're not familiar with what the Courts of Etheria series is about, and without giving any spoilers, super important, it's about a seemingly normal girl who lives with an uncle deep in the woods. One day, she has a strange encounter with 2 men who come to visit her on her birthday to collect her for future services to the kingdom. Now, hold on. One man serves a lord, and he wants to bring her to his lord's keep so that he can have her serve as his personal concubine, essentially, is kind of what I understood from it. And the other man wants to bring her to a Fae university where she will become a soldier of the realm and serve the king. The realm is in danger currently, and the king is looking for additional soldiers to add to his elite group of warriors that are like kind of like his personal guard. And if you graduate this university, you have the greatest chance of becoming one of these like super elite warriors. So she does end up going with the second guy, whose name is Rain. And so she ends up at this university, and while she's at university, she learns how to fight like the Fae. She uncovers secrets that about the realm and about herself that she never imagined was around. So of course this war breaks out while she's at university, and our heroine needs to make a lot of difficult decisions, including whether or not to accept her own fate or even her fated mate. Yes, one of my favorite tropes is fated mates. I'm just saying. So anyways, overall, Crown of Smoke and Starlight did not disappoint. I really love the continued character development throughout the entire series. You know, this is the last book in the series, so we had a lot of roundup of things in the book and in the previous books that kind of all came together, and I really, really enjoyed it. There was still some twists and things that happened that I never anticipated either. So it really kept me on my feet. It was definitely a page turner. Pace-wise, I think it was medium to slightly fast at times. I devoured the book in a few days over the course of a couple weeks, of course. And overall, I thought that The Crown of Smoke and Starlight was the perfect ending to the Court of Etheria series. I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. And now for the second book that I read in November. Yes, it was Brimstone by Callie Hart. Amazing, phenomenal, incredible. Like, what the F? Oh my gosh. I really struggled making notes on what to tell you guys, because of course I'm not going to give any spoilers. It's really, really important. So yeah, we'll go nice and slow with this one. Brimstone is the follow-up to the Fae and Alchemy series written by Callie Hart. And the Fae and Alchemy series has quickly become one of my most favorite series I think I've ever read, even though we're only on book 2, in fairness. It's right along the lines up there with like amazing series with my... they're hiding behind my chair. With the Dragon Prince series from Melanie Ron. So she has 2 trilogies in this like set. She has the Dragon Prince series, and then she has the Dragon Star series. I really love the world building in this book. I love the politics that happen. I love this one's not spicy. It would be like kissing and that's it, and that's totally fine because this is just a really good story. I love, again, the world building, all of the politics. It does have dragons, and I can't say all the creatures that are available in the Fae and Alchemy series, but there are a lot of big similarities. So anyways, the Fae and Alchemy series, yes, oh my gosh. So I do have 1 copy of Quicksilver in hardcover. I have a second copy too, and I'm gonna admit they're both signed by Callie Hart. Yes, I went to a special event, and I had to purchase 2 tickets because I thought my husband Max was gonna be able to make it. So in all fairness, he really did drive out from work to the event from the city of Chicago. And unfortunately, just due to the timing, he was not going to make the event. So I was able to pick up his book when he went in there. And yeah, that was a really cool event. And I wrote about it on my blog. So anyways, I have the first edition of Quicksilver. I have, of course, the special edition, the re-release, because it was an indie book and then it was picked up by a traditional publisher. And this one's signed, and now we are on to book 2. So again, without any spoilers, Brimstone picks up right where Quicksilver left off. Our main heroine, Sarah Fane, needs to uphold traditions as well as create some new traditions of her own in her new court. And yes, Kingfisher at the same time is readying himself for the task of collecting someone from another realm. Not gonna say who. There was a darkness that started kind of invading the land in Quicksilver. Well, that's like 10x'd by now in Brimstone, and it just like increases as the story goes through or moves along, and we're just kind of faced with like, where's it coming from? Why is it still here? This darkness has totally accelerated, and it leaves both Kingfisher and Saris like little choice but to flee where they currently are, because this darkness, this rot is like invading the ground. It's killing everything in its wake, and it's really scary. So they end up having to leave where they are. And, you know, towards the end, we kind of asked, like, was fleeing the right choice to make? You know, should they have stayed and kind of really waited it out until they absolutely had to? Spoiler, they did that, and it was still, like, questionable. Like, was it the right thing to leave when they did? Should they had left sooner? Like, you know, hindsight's always 2020. So yeah, it makes you think. I don't want to give like anything away. This book is incredible, really, guys. The back says their fates were forged in Quicksilver, but they will be fired in Brimstone. And this book has just really helped increase my love of reading. Actually, so I read ACOTAR series over this time last year into 2025. And then after ACOTAR, I remember reading Quicksilver. And Quicksilver, I was really on the fence about. I'm like, this doesn't sound great. I think it's a bit much. I'm probably not going to like it, but I need something to read because I enjoy reading. So I'm just going to pick this up and read it. And I think I read this in maybe a day. And I thought, oh, I really, really like this. Same thing with Brimstone, guys. It was just so good. I love her attention to detail. Callie Hart puts so much into the world building as well as her characters, and they're very complex. She is, I think, one of the best writers with Easter eggs, right? Never foresaw certain things. There are hours and hours of content of podcasts and reviewers reviewing Quicksilver out there, and I always find something new every time I go back over it. It's probably going to be the same thing with Brimstone. I took my time. I actually like labeled and annotated what I needed. And for the first time in my entire life, I created a legend of what the different colors of these tabs mean. So I am OCD when it comes to reading physical books. I love annotating and kind of writing notes and everything else. And that's why I really took my time with this book. Took me about a couple weeks to get through it, but excuse me, that is because I was annotating and thinking. Critical thinking skills were kind of reawakened in this, and kind of like determining any kind of foreshadowing and picking up on Easter eggs. But holy guacamole, bravo, Callie Hart. Like, this was incredible. I have so many questions, obviously, about this book around with me and thousands of others, I'm quite certain. And I cannot wait to dive deeper into this series or into this book and kind of like get into the nitty gritty. But this one podcast called Fantasy Fangirls. It's on wherever you have your preferred listening to podcasts. And they do an incredible job of like doing deep dives into fantasy books that are usually the more popular ones, I will say. Not all of them are available. If it's like super, super popular, it's on there. Brimstone is what they're doing next, and I cannot wait. Like, my morning commute is going to be amazing. I know this. I'll say for the first time, because I wasn't so sure about how I felt about rating books this high, I gave this book 5 stars. And I actually moved it over to a God tier list. Yes, this book was everything I wanted. It had really good spice. It had amazing like war in here and like politics, not just politics, but like war scenes. So one thing about me, I really like reading about gory war scenes. And I love twists and turns. I don't like to think too hard when I read through something the first time. I kind of want to take the story as face value, and then I go back and I reread and I'm like, oh, I didn't see that, I didn't think of that, like, what does his name even mean? Yeah, that's what I have for like some like this blue tab is a total reveal of something. I can't even tell you what it is because I don't get it. It came out of nowhere and I'm like, wait a minute. I have no idea where this came from. It's so well written. It's unexpected. I love it. I think it was fast paced, slower-ish at times, but I really enjoyed that with this story. It's a big book. It's chunky. It is 660 pages, so it's not for the faint of heart. If you're kind of like squeamish about reading larger books, you may want to try it on audiobook. Not my thing to listen to books on audio, but yes, I really enjoyed Brimstone. I highly recommend it. If you have not read Quicksilver, are you like under a rock or something? I'm just kidding. I really like this series, so I can't wait to see. I think you're supposed to have 3 to 5 books. I honestly have not looked too hard into what the whole plan is with this Fae and Alchemy series. I do know for a fact that Netflix has picked up the rights to Quicksilver, and that was something that Callie talked about when I went to the event with her and author Stasia Stark, whose collection I actually have right here, and it's also signed. Callie was mentioning at that event that they are kind of in the finalization of a few things, and then they're gonna find a director and then write the script and then cast the cast. So it'll be interesting to see how it's translated onto film, but Callie is an executive producer, so I have really good confidence that as long as the project remains live, it's going to be a wonderful adaptation. And I think she's not the kind of person who's going to like settle for some like meh version of her work. So I'm in full support of Callie and like all of her works. Now I've only read the Fae and Alchemy series. She actually was not a fantasy author writer before this, which is quite curious. And there's actually another author that I found out also did not write fantasy books before the book that I read, and I really enjoyed that book. So maybe that's CMO. Like, I don't know, mafia authors, maybe just, you know, try stabbing at, you know, fantasy series, and maybe it'll be really good. I don't know. Just me chatting away, which means I need to stop because this video is getting a little ridiculous. So yeah, guys, these were my 2 books that I read for the month of November. Crown of Smoke and Starlight by G.K. Derosa, and of course Brimstone by Callie Hart. Next video, I'll probably chat about what books I'm reading in December, as well as maybe some book mail. I just love this whole like bookish format, I gotta say. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It is completely different than what I do for work every day, and it just brings me a lot of joy. So I'm probably gonna go ham with the book stuff because I have like a library now, and I'm just gonna say it out here now. The other half of this room might also turn into bookshelves one day. This is like a 2-year plan, and this entire space will be like floor to ceiling, wall to wall with books. I don't know. We'll see. I'm gonna live out my Beauty and the Beast library dreams vicariously online right now through other book influencers, but I don't know. It'd be kind of fun to go that route. We'll see. Thank you so much for watching. I really enjoy doing these Vlogmas videos, and I hope you enjoy seeing them too. And I'll see you tomorrow.